Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning with myself, Baz. It is Wednesday the 18th of June. It is 18th. I hope you are well wherever you are around the world. I know that Celtic fans do watch this channel all around the world. The stats show me. I've not done a video for a while that shows you all the countries around the world where Celtic fans do watch Celtic. Now, before I get on to the main subjects of today, there's reports that Mark Norobski is part of the long-term plans at Celtic. That's why they want him to go out on loan. They see him as one for the future. At 24-year-old, I think he's probably at the time where he should be getting more game time at Celtic, but we'll leave that to Brendan Rodgers. Now, first up is Celtic have been ranked 17th by Transfer Market for clubs with the highest attendance. First up is River Plate and then Dortmund at 81,000, FC Bayern 75,000. This is average attendances during the season of 24-25. Now, if Celtic were to redevelop the main stand, it would take Celtic up into the top 10. You see that Marseille have got 63,000, Roma's got 63,000, West Ham 62,000. If Celtic, who currently sit in 17th position in the World League, they were in the top 20 of the world in attendances for football. If Celtic were to redevelop the main stand, that would give us over 68,000, even taking it at the lower end of adding another 10,000 seats onto the main stand. That would take us up to 68,000, which would be absolutely fantastic. So, I mean, it's going to take you above Marseille, isn't it? Put you in 8th position. If Celtic were to make it a 75,000 seater stadium, and we get 70-odd thousand every home game, it could take us up into the realms of Real Madrid. But Real Madrid have just redeveloped the stadium, so it'll be interesting to see what their numbers are next year. And what comes along with higher attendances is higher money, more money coming into the stadium. Now, it's going to be interesting to see because Barcelona isn't in there this year because Barcelona are currently at a small stadium, the small Olympic Stadium in the city, and they have redeveloped their stadium. They've knocked it down completely, rebuilt it, and from the ashes rises the phoenix of the Camp Nou 2. The Camp Nou 2, or the Camp Nou Dos, or Dos Nou Camp, whatever you want to call it. And they're building a stadium with a capacity of 105,000. They seen that the only way that they were going to get out of the financial troubles that they were in, Barcelona a few years ago, although they managed to screw the nut on it and they stopped paying out the crazy wages that they were paying out, and they went down the route of trying to bring in youthful players to the club and develop their own players. You're in class. Because the fact that Barcelona have redeveloped the stadium to have an attendance of 105,000 shows that the only way that they knew that they were at a ceiling where what they could potentially earn on an annual income. I think Celtic have hit that ceiling as well, and it then brings into the whole question: should Celtic redevelop the main stand, or should they, as back in, what year was it? It was 2017. 2017, Celtic were in fine form. We were heading for 10 in a row. It was all good. Everything that was everything that was green and white was gold, you could say. And it saw Celtic lodge an application for the hotel. Yes, and this is the artist's impression. As well as the hotel, I do have the impressions of what a redeveloped Celtic Park would look like. And you see here, the Celtic Park would give us more money, but with the cost of redeveloping the Celtic Park at near enough, some are saying nearly 100 million, back in 2017, Celtic were given the green light for a stadium expansion that would include an £18 million hotel and a museum. We've just spent £20 million on the redevelopment of Barrowfield, and it'll take a lot of time to bring back in that money. Now, we all know what happened in 2020. The hotel was to be based on the London roadside outside the main stand of Celtic Park, across from the Emirates Arena. And as you can see with the artist impressions that Celtic got made up, it was fantastic, and it would have looked absolutely amazing outside Celtic Park. Now, they were granted permission. It had been consented. There was no objections at all. There was no objections. The plans were lodged. The decision notice states that the building work, and this is where we have an issue. The plans were given permission that building work must commence within 3 years. That was back in 2017. Those 3 years have come and gone. In the statement, the council, in support of their application, Celtic said the development would create 120 jobs, full-time jobs, and provide an economic boost to the area, reduce congestion around the stadium, and with the history of the football club worldwide and the worldwide support, it means that attractions, the people that come to see Celtic Park have somewhere to stay, and then it would give Celtic even more money because the stadium tours would increase. The provision of the club museum and the improved shop and ticketing facilities. You've got to remember, the ticket office at Celtic Park is porta cabins that were pushed together. It was a makeshift ticket office that was never meant to last more than 10 years, and the porta cabins still stand to this day. Celtic went on to say this will help sustain jobs and economic activity throughout the year, and it would have, and I think that bringing the hotel to Celtic Park, I've been a big advocate of it since it was announced in 2017. The statement that Celtic put out says, experience elsewhere also demonstrates that hotel, restaurant, cafe, bar and facilities adjoining the football stadium can help spread the timing of trips and create a greater period to avoid peak periods. So in other words, if Celtic had a 500 enough beds for, say it had 200 or 300 room hotel, that would be 600 potential fans that could stay at the hotel. Some people will say, well, that's 600 beds that are going to come away from hotels within Glasgow, but could be the case that it could be 600 more that were added into the mix, because people might say, do you know what, I'm just going to book the hotel at Celtic Park tonight. You've got parking underneath, and it takes an awful lot of cars off the road. I take it they were going to build a car park underneath the hotel area. Details of the project emerged after a Champions League game, and where Celtic pre-tax profits had rocketed to 6.9 million. Yeah, 6.9 million. And look at what the profits have been over the last couple of years. The plans follow on from the regeneration of the East End of Glasgow from the Commonwealth Games back in 2014. And the Chris Hoy Velodrome and Emirates Arena nearby. When you look at it, it's I still think that it's something that should have went forward with Celtic. They would bring in more money with the hotel rather than what they will do with, I mean, because let's face it, they're going to have to, if Barrowfield's going to pay for itself, they're going to have to produce 3 Kieran Tierney's in the next 5 years. They're going to have to produce 3 Kieran Tierney's to come into the first team squad, be that good that Celtic get £25 million plus offers to sell them. And it's only then, once we hit over, because it's cost 20 million to build Barrowfield. You've then got the monthly cost of running it. You've then got the yearly cost of running it. I suggest it would take 5 years and 3 £25 million players for that to break into profit. And it's a sad situation that we're in. I mean, even 2 players, okay, you could say 50 million, and that would be as in profit. But then it's how long does that profit stay for? It's from a financial point of sense for Celtic. The hotel would bring in money from day dot. From the first day. The day that you open the door, the hotel makes money. the bar makes money, the cafe makes money. People start having business lunches in the hotel area, businesses round about, rather than going into Celtic Park. Do you know, it gives the club that extra income. And not only during the season, but during the summer. Celtic could be holding more events during the summer, and that would bring in even more money. Getting people to come not only to do the stadium tour, but stay at the Celtic Hotel, then eat at the Celtic Hotel, do the stadium tour. It then becomes part of the whole city break culture, and you would get Celtic fans from all over the world coming to do that. There would be nothing better for me. I can remember one night we were on holiday, actually 2015 and 2016, with a motorhome, and there was a Champions League qualifier game on, and I was away with the kids. And I was thinking about, we'd spoke about it, it was like, we'll just drive down to Glasgow and we'll just park up the motorhome, go to the game, and then we've got somewhere to stay for the night. It's a no-brainer. I think that the hotel would be a fantastic addition. So the question is, in the votes, should Celtic build up the main stand first? And I'm going to give you my objection for not building the main stand first now. I've given you the reasons why I think that Celtic should build the hotel, because it will make profit quicker than it will building up the main stand. The cost of building up the main stands has been suggested that it would be roughly around about £100 million. Celtic do not sell an extra £100 million in season tickets in 1 year. So the break-even point for the main stand would go to around about the 10 to 15 year mark. And Celtic, as a business, could say, yep, but then in 10, 15 years' time, there's a lot of other parts of the stadium that will need redeveloped. So Celtic will not increase the main stand. I think if there's to do any major redevelopment, it will be stadia-wide. And you may think to yourself, the stadium was only built in the 1990s. When you look at modern stadia and the facilities that they have, Lennoxtown is a fantastic addition down the road, but to get that immediate return, and the fact that Celtic already have an issue with people buying season tickets in the season and the seats sitting empty for quite a few games, Celtic would be more prudent from a financial point of view and cheaper. If it's cheaper to build the hotel, the complex, and get that up and running, and people will say, but if you build up the main stand, you'll bring in more money because more people will spend money. Well, they don't, and it's a sad fact. Out of the 60,000 people that go to Celtic Park, the extra spend comes in, and Celtic would clarify this if you asked them. The extra spend doesn't come in for people buying hamburgers, people buying sausage rolls, people buying pies, people buying cokes. The extra spend comes in people going into the shop on a game by game basis. That's where the extra profit comes from, the merchandise. If you were to integrate a museum into that, museum tours, stadium tours, hotel stay, you've got more chance of getting more money. The lifetime value of you as a customer. Everyone that goes to Celtic Park is a customer. And Celtic will know that they have, and they call it in business, a lifetime value of the customer. It's not about getting the £600, £700 off you for your season ticket. That's just the beginning of the journey. In business they call it a value ladder. So when you start off with your season ticket, you're paying your 600, 700, 2 grand, whatever it is. That's the base level that you come in at. And then there's add-ons, upsells, Champions League games, home cup, ticket cup scheme. Guarantee your ticket for home cup games. Be part of that, and then the money gets taken off you automatically out direct debit. So that keeps going up the scale. So your 700, your original 700 that you've spent on a season ticket, then becomes £1,000. So they know that the lifetime value for this year for one customer or one season ticket holder could potentially be £1,000. To increase that, they know that they have to bring out more merchandise and which to do. So they bring out more merch, and then on a game day, the shop is the most profitable part of Celtic Park. Just putting an extra 10 to 15,000 seats in Celtic Park, and the cost of it is the reason that I would not build up the main stand. Purely from a business point of sense. I think that Celtic will have looked at all scenarios. They see the scenario of obviously investing the £20 million into Stephen Johnson. You're a star. Can we build both of them? Yeah, we can, Stephen, but you have to take a strategic view of what is going to give you the biggest and best return. Now, Celtic are going to try and increase. They've made that. I don't know why they're not changing the stadium for the women to play down at Barrowfield. But if they were, I think it's going to be a 3,000, 5,000 seater stadium. That's more than enough for women's football. You could have that as their home games down there. You know, Little Celtic Park, they'll end up calling it. But from a financial point of view, Celtic do not want to stretch themselves because they know that they're going to have to spend more to maintain their levels in the Champions League. They know that the wage bill is going to go up slightly. They know that they're going to have to spend more on transfers. So to spend 100 million, and you would end up doing a Man United if you've done that, Stephen. And that's the honest. Jim McClarty says, Baz, how will building all of that help the future of the team? It will give Brendan Rodgers and Celtic more money to spend on transfers. It's as simple as that. It gives the club more money. You build the hotel and it gives the club another income stream. And that adds to the profitability of the club. If you go down the road of building the main stand up, and it's going to cost 100 million, what are we, 7 and 8 years on for 2017. Say the cost has went from 20 million for the hotel to 40 million. And maybe the Lennoxtown development at 20 million was the cheaper option. So they goes, right, we'll do that just first. If you were to go ahead and spend 100 million on the main stand, and then another 40 million on the hotel complex, that puts Celtic into negative equity, and it's money they don't have. It means that they need to then go back to the banks cap in hand and say, we need a loan of 100 million. We've got 90 million sitting in the bank, but we don't want to touch our own money, so we want to take out an overdraft of 100 million. We want to build this complex, and when that starts paying it off, that then starts adding 5, 10, 15 years break-even point to that plan. Look at what happened with the Glazers at Man United. Man United went from having £300 million cash in the bank to having £500 million overdraft. Celtic will not do that. Celtic are far too clever from the business perspective to do that, and that's why they won't build both. Fergus could see 20 years ahead, Baz. In my opinion, you should consult him and ask, given the capital, what would he teach you? That would be brilliant if I knew how to get in touch with him. That would be a brilliant interview to do. That would be absolutely fantastic. Somebody will go and steal that now. One of the paid journalists. That would be an absolutely fantastic interview. Given his business acumen, but then he would say it's a different time. It's money is different, business is different. I've retired. I've been at the game. Man United are 750 million in debt now, Baz. Well, there you go. That's that. I'm just trying to read some of these comments. Just read back this. Big shout out to Stephen Johnson. He's actually there. Do we have a themed restaurant? Do we have a themed restaurant and hotel, or do we keep it normal for the general visit and not just Celtic fans? I think that would be a normal hotel with obviously the Celtic part of the hotel. It's a Celtic hotel. It's the same when people go to stay at the hotel at Ajax ground. Do you know there's lots of stadiums around the country, even in England, that now have hotels. Rangers fans obviously are not going to go to stay at a hotel that's at Celtic Park, are they? The part of the attraction is to bring people in to spend more money with Celtic. And you could look at it as, listen, you get a lot of business people that spend a lot of money on fancy lounges at Celtic, and they bring people up on that they do business with. And this goes on at Celtic Park all the time. They bring them up and they say, we've got corporate seats at Celtic, nice wee lounge bit, get your dinner and all the rest of it. If we had the hotel, these business people would say, come on, they'd say to this supplier, come up, we're going to treat you to a game at Celtic Park, we've got you in the hotel, we'll get you doing the stadium tour. That's what happens in business. And unfortunately, the game's changed that much, and it's no longer a working man's game. But it can be. It can be a working man's game, and it can be complemented by people that have money, that want to spend money, that go into football, they want to experience fine dining at Celtic Park, that want to spend 50 grand. I've been in the company of people that spend 50 grand on a box at Celtic. Potential to develop around Celtic Park is massive. It could bring in the club loads of money. If you've seen the drone pics, you could see that already. Yep. The ones that want to be close to silverware might stay there, Baz. Yeah, exactly. Joseph Davis says, here's one for you all. Naming rights to the stadium. No, it's always going to be Celtic Park. Celtic will never sell the name of the stadium. It's not going to be called Red Bull Park or some shit like that. Michelle says that we need to deal with the good and well-known chef to create the menu at the hotel like Gordon Ramsay does at iBox. Fuck off. No, I wouldn't. No. Gordon Ramsay's a wanker, and all these restaurants went into collapse. He's the same as Rangers. He got put into administration, Michelle. No, you have it as I don't think that you need a fancy named chef to come in. I don't think that at all. I think that the experience, I mean, if you look at the Jury's Inn in Glasgow, the Jury's Inn on European nights is full of Celtic fans. And it has been for years. The hotel would be outpriced for the common supporter. No, it wouldn't, Spacey. I don't think it would. I think it would be like any other hotel in Glasgow. It would have to be competitively priced, or people were just going to go, fuck that, I'm not going to stay there when I can stay at the Jury's Inn for £100 a night on the game of a European game. So maybe that's the whole reason that Celtic didn't go down the road, is because it was going to be easier and financially easier to achieve to build up Barrowfield and before that. Anyway, and that's all because Celtic are rated 17th in the world by Transfer Market, with the highest attendance league in the world for the 24-25 season. And this is for league games only. This doesn't include Champions League games or Cup games or anything. This is just purely league dominance. And in that league dominance, it's taken Celtic into the top 20 in the world. With attendance, an average attendance at Celtic Park over the course of the season, 58,972. So how many have we got in the poll? It's quite slow this morning for the poll, although there has been over 650 people online already in 24 minutes, which is quite good. So I'm happy with that. So yeah, let's get this poll to 150. A lot of you are going down the road of build up the main stand, thinking with your hearts more than your heads. in my opinion, we're all entitled to our own opinion, but from a money point of view and a financial point of view, I think I've put a case across for both quite reasonably and sensibly. And maybe even the board members will go, do you know what, it doesn't talk that much shite after all. But yeah, I think that Barrowfield is obviously one of the projects that were easier to achieve financially, and it gives them the little clap on their back. So it now makes sense to me. It does now make sense to me why Barrowfield project was done first rather than the hotel. The fact that they would have to go through the whole application again. Baz, a stone's throw from Celtic Park, is getting 500 million investment as Sheffield Stadium coming down, and a hotel and a house being built. Well, there you go. Imagine European nights at the hotel. If their away fans would stay there all night long. I don't think. Yeah, maybe away fans would stay there. I don't know. I think you're more chance of it filling with Celtic fans. I think Celtic fans, as soon as European nights, and Rod Stewart would book an entire suite on the top floor. Mo, you're maybe right with that, because he does that in hotels in Glasgow, and you could think nothing. And do you know what? He would probably bring more of his mates. And he's like, "Come on, lads, I'm taking you on a trip this weekend. Get my private jet. We're going to leave again LA or wherever it is he stays, and." We've booked out the hotel. The hotel's ours. I've booked out the whole fucking thing. It's cost me 20 million to book out the hotel. We've done it. But anyway, there's 42 thumbs up. It's showing me on this, and there's been over 700 views in total. It would work. So the game and sleepover in the hotel. So work. Yeah, I definitely think so. What about the main stand in the fan zone at the London Road end near the ticket office? That's where the hotel's going, Mikey. That's where the hotel was to go. If they've changed their mind on the hotel, Celtic need to come out and tell us, because I think that they've missed a massive opportunity. I mean, I will read the statement that Celtic put out along with Glasgow City Council back in 2017. Celtic will be given the green light for the stadium expansion that will include an £18 million hotel and museum. The approval has been granted by Glasgow City Council to regenerate the area. Celtic released images of the £18 million development that will include a new ticket office and retail store. The ticket office is currently just porta-cabins pushed together. The hotel is to be based on the London Road outside the main stand of Celtic Park, across from the Emirates, where the current season ticket office is, and the current shop, Celtic Superstore. Celtic has now written. The council has written to Celtic to inform them that the planning has been granted. There were no objections lodged, and the plan states that building works must commence within 3 years. Well, we all know what happened in 2020. Everyone went tits up, and maybe that's what caused Celtic to put it on the back burner. Celtic did state in their application that it would create up to 120 full-time jobs and have an economic boost to the area, and would help reduce congestion on game days. The history of the football club is known worldwide, and that support means that Celtic Park is regularly attracts visitors out with match days, with stadium tours and club shop and ticket office. The provision of the museum, improved shop ticketing facilities, and will greatly enhance the visitor experience, and will help to sustain jobs and economic activity throughout the year. The proposed development will result in the creation of a much needed new employment opportunities associated with the hotel and museum. There we go. And that was Celtic at the time. But anyway, so I got 155 votes. I'm going to shut that down because we are only staying up for the half an hour. So let's jump into the comments and see what we're saying. Should stadium be 75,000, corporate facilities, UEFA grade 5, then the hotel and entertainment zone, says Moriarty. Yeah, but that's going to cost 100 million, and we don't have the money for that. So if you listen to the video earlier, I did give the pros and cons of why we should go down the route of the hotel, and I didn't really give many cons for it, because from a business point of view, I don't see many cons going down the road of the hotel. But when it comes to developing the main stand, I gave the pros, which that we all know you're going to get increased capacity. But the cons, the for against, is it's going to cost over 100 million. You've already got an issue at Celtic Park with people buying season tickets and not going to games and just turning up at game Charlie's. The atmosphere is terrible, and the list could go on. The return of the investment for that 100 million would take around about 10 to 15 years to recoup the money spent on the main stand. But if you build a hotel, you bring the money in first. Anyway, Derek says, good point, Baz, on the hotel, etc. But European competition and league, the way forward in football. For that, we'll need a suitable stadium. I think we've got a suitable stadium. I think that the issue is, I think we've got a fantastic stadium for the European arena, and there's nothing that says that we need to have a bigger stadium. We want a club to hit the next level on and off the pitch. This would take us to the next level. Yeah, it would. But both projects would take us to the next level. But now that I've sat and thought about it, we all questioned why Celtic was spending 20 million on Barrowfield. And when you've got the three projects and you're sitting looking at the financials, the board will sit and look at the financials and they'll say, right, we've got these three projects that we want to do. Develop Barrowfield, 20 million. Build the hotel, ticket office, museum, 40 to 45 million now. Develop the main stand, 100 million. Okay, which one can we build first that has the potential to give us a return within 5 years? The academy. Build the academy, bring through younger players, bring through 2 Kieran Tierneys, you sell them for 50 million. Within 5 years, that's paid for itself. That will be the thinking of the Celtic hierarchy, because they know that they need to start ramping up our homegrown quota, and we need to start churning out Kieran Tierneys. It's the way forward for the club. It's the way forward for Barcelona. It's the way forward for every club. They then look at the stadium. They look at the ongoing issues within the stadium. You've got 2 different factions of ultras at separate ends of the stadium. You've got people saying that we should build a main stand. You've got people saying that we should have a Celtic end. All these things pull in different ways within the stadium, and you've then got the cost. So I think that'll be put on the third the third burner, and I think the next one should be the hotel development, because I think that would bring in, from a business point of view, they'll sit down and they call the bar the huddle in. That's a good one. Anyway, for me, stadium before anything else, says Richard. Lanky says that why improve the stands when fans can't be asked turning up for smaller games? Exactly, Lanky. Exactly. If you build a 75,000 seat stadium and then you've got Ross County or St Mirren on a December night and you've got 20,000 seats sitting empty, well, you're all sitting watching it free on a Fire Stick. That's the difference. That is the difference in the modern game. Celtic are not now competing just with Sky Television for bums on seats. They're competing with a Fire Stick and the fact that you can watch football for absolutely free. Anyway, that's been done and dusted for this morning. Daniel Duffy says if he won the lottery, he would pay to increase the main stand. Well, you'd need to win the Euro Millions, and it'd need to be around about 150 million that you won. Anyway, on that note, have an absolutely any transfer news. No, nothing all morning. Hence the reason that we're talking about the hotel from 2017. There's nothing new. And no news usually means good news. Hi, right? It's like somebody's trying to get Nicholson out the office. Nicholson's sitting like this, fucking huddled up in the office. Don't spend money. He's sitting with his feet against the door. Fuck off, get out. It's Brendan, let me in. I'm not here. I'm busy. I'm fucking busy my arse. Okay, give me that checkbook, you prick. Cheers, Baz and Troops says that. Baz, those 20,000 seats are bought and paid for regardless of people going or not. Yeah, it doesn't look good, does it? And when you've got 10,000, 5,000 sitting just now that are empty, it doesn't look good, and you all moan about it. Anyway, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are all around the world.